And as we heard in Leslie's piece, Benjamin Netanyahu is hoping other countries will follow Canada's lead. The Israeli Prime Minister went deeper into that point during our conversation earlier today and also revealed what kind of communication there was between himself and Stephen Harper prior to Friday's surprise announcement. You know, Canadians are wondering why this situation is so critical now. Did you share any information with Canada about Iran's nuclear readiness or any coming Israeli attack on Iran?
No, I never discussed those things anyway, and except for saying that Israel always reserves the right to defend itself by itself. But I will say that I had a discussion on my visit to Canada several months ago with Prime Minister Harper. We are in touch with Foreign Minister Baird and the Canadian government about the ongoing developments in Iran. I think it's not a secret. The whole world is seeing Iran violate UN Security Council resolutions. They're continuing to race towards the development of nuclear bombs, and they continue to pursue worldwide terror while bearing down on their own people and helping slaughter innocents in Syria, as well as staging tens of thousands of rockets that are occasionally fired on our cities. So I'd say that's a pretty strong bill of condemnation. Maybe, and I wasn't in consultation with Prime Minister Harper before he chose to do this courageous act in the diplomatic field, but maybe he saw what I see, that last week 120 nations went to Tehran in the face of all this aggression, all this fanaticism. 120 nations were there and they stood silent. And I think what Prime Minister Harper said, we can't stand for this as civilized nations. We have to build a wall, not of silence, but a wall of condemnation and resolve. And Canada just put a very big brick in that wall that is necessary for the peace of the world.
But Canada's not been known traditionally as a big player on this kind of front internationally. What kind of impact are you hoping Canada's move will have?
I think it has a very big impact. It's the impact of example. It's the impact of principle. It's the impact of standing up to the arsonist and not being neutral between the arsonist and the firefighter. I think all of these things are very important, and I certainly hope and encourage other countries to take heed.
You've been saying for many years that you can't wait much longer as you suspect Iran is moving towards nuclear weapons. How much longer can you wait before moving?
Well, the only thing I can say is that I've been saying when I took office, I said that Iran is moving systemically towards the development of nuclear weapons capability, and that has unfortunately been confirmed every year, every month, and every day since I took office.
So are you closer now to Israel moving unilaterally, or are you...
Well,
Are you seeking, is this more of an effort to seek more support from other countries?
I think what is important is to realize that Iran will not stop unless it sees clear determination by the democratic countries in the world and a clear red line. I don't think that they see a clear red line, and I think the sooner we establish one, the greater the chances that there won't be a need for other types of action.
Who do you think might follow Canada with some kind of red line?
Well, we're discussing this right now with the United States.
So what is it in terms of drawing that line? What are you hoping the U.S. will do?
I think the issue is not merely the sanctions or the steps that could be enhanced to put pressure on Iran. It's also a clear delineation of a line which Iran cannot cross in its pursuit of the development of nuclear weapons capability. And I think if Iran saw that, there's a chance. I won't say it's guaranteed, but there's a chance they might pause and think before they cross that line.
And you do think that Canada will actually influence other countries in laying out that red line?
I think it might, and I think that the important thing is that Canada did something that is required from principled nations at this time. There are moments in history in which people have to take a moral stand, and there are moments where the right thing to do is also the smart thing to do. And I think Canada did the right thing and the smart thing.
I guess with a close relationship between you and Prime Minister Harper, people here might be surprised to think that this wasn't discussed before the announcement was made about this move last Friday.
Well, we did speak about the fact that Canada is very disturbed by the fact that Iran is pursuing the policies I described, including inciting openly for genocide. You know, the UN was established with a view to preventing the repeat of the genocidal actions of World War II. Yet here you have a member state, Iran, openly talking about wiping out another member state, Israel, and too many countries have been silent. Prime Minister Harper told me time and time again that he thinks this is outrageous and requires a very strong response. I'm glad he chose to respond as he did. I think it puts him on the scale of world leaders of the highest level.
Well, actually, in the Jerusalem Post this morning, it refers to Canada as the new leader of the free world.
Well, I think the United States leads the free world, but I think Canada's example is one that could be emulated by others who still maintain relations with Iran. And more importantly, I think right now it's a clarion call for action. It says, let's tell Iran they cannot continue as they've been continuing.
Prime Minister, thank you so much.
Thank you.